You know, a lot of people are wondering, how can I get some early stage customers? How can I build our brand? And one of the ways you can do it is actually by building your personal brand. And surprisingly, building your personal brand often can reap more rewards than building your company brand. I spoke with Yannick Veys. He is super, super good at building a brand. And he's one of the co founders of Hype Fury, a great tool that helps you grow your brand on Twitter. So we went through a lot about how you can do it, how he's done it, and followed his path. And it's really, really interesting, really cool. And it's something I think you should definitely listen to if you're looking to gain new customers now. Check it out.
Welcome to SaaS-Story in the Making, the podcast that features the people who made the software world what it is today and the leaders who are shaping the future of technology. Here's your host, Matt Wallach.
Yes, welcome. This is SaaS-Story in the Making. So glad to have you here. Thank you for coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're on YouTube. I am really, really excited for today's show because this person has built a great product, a product that I use, a product that has helped me. So I'd like to introduce Yannick Veys. Yannick, welcome to the show.
Hey, man. Good to be here. Thanks, Matt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad to have you here. And Yannick is joining us from the Netherlands. And I want to make sure you all know all about him because he is the man. He is the co-founder of Hype Fury. It's a product I mentioned that I use, really, really slick. And Yannick's been a professional blogger for over a decade. He's owner of over 100 websites, and he's worked at the best digital marketing agency in the Netherlands. So when it comes to growth, when it comes to entrepreneurship and really understanding how to make things scale, he knows how to do it really well. I'm excited to learn from him today. Hype Fury, by the way, this is a slick tool. It's a Twitter growth solution. It's a tool that basically makes your life with Twitter a lot better. And I can tell you from experience, it delivers. Yannick is also formerly the founder at Veys, so I can't wait to learn from his experience today. Once again, Yannick, thanks for coming on the show.
Man, I have to steal that intro, man, for myself. It was very good.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you like it. But I want to know what's going on with you lately and what's coming up.
Yeah, good question. Just busy building a cool product, I guess. Yeah, it's been 2 years in the making now with Hype Fury, and yeah, still growing fast. And I'm doing the marketing part, and Sammy, the other founder, he's doing the dev part, the product part. So we've got that split up nicely. So yeah, it's cool.
It's great when you can have a partnership that really you kind of match against each other really well with your different skill sets. That's super cool. I want to know what made you decide to start this company.
Yeah, that's a good question. Originally, I didn't start it, so Sammy started it. And what happened was he got initial traction, got a couple of customers, started in a closed beta. People liked the product, paid for it, and started mentioning, hey, this Hype Fury. Like back then, this is over 2 years ago, the only thing you could do with Hype Fury was schedule threads. That was a thing. Like, well, I'm dumbing it out a little bit, but like basically that was it. And so he got initial traction, and he put a post up on Indie Hackers saying, hey, I'm looking for a marketing co-founder because, I'm a developer. I want to focus on developing. I don't want to focus on all the other stuff. I don't like doing it. So I reached out and I said, hey, well, I just grew this other business, which you mentioned, Veys. I have a lot of experience in digital marketing. I'd love to come and meet you and let's see where the ball rolls. And we got it on, started calling a little bit, getting to know each other. And then after, I don't know, a couple of days, we decided I would fly out to Paris. I stayed there for the weekend, got to know each other, had some food and wine and all the good stuff.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, we just had a click, worked really nicely. And we thought, well, let's take it to the next step. So basically I did like an internship for a couple of months where we got to meet each other even more, got to work with each other even more. And I would show that I could actually grow the business instead of just talking, which worked. And, after a couple of months, MRR was, I don't know, 5x, 10x, I don't remember, but it grew substantially. And yeah, ever since I've been a partner in the business. That was, short origin story. And so I was, that. Yeah, I even wasn't that big on Twitter when we saw. I got like 500, 600 followers two years ago. I wasn't on Twitter a lot, but I knew that like my knowledge, my experience could help grow the business. But I had to double down a bit more on getting to know Twitter. So that was yeah, that was me.
That's so cool. What a great story. And I'm glad you guys found each other. I want to know, though, what exactly does the product do? Let's share it for everybody, because you mentioned the threads and does other things too. But can you share what it
Yeah.
does?
Yeah, so basically, it helps with a couple of things. So a lot of people have issues with coming up with new content. So we share a lot of inspiration with you from dozens of categories. We handpick tweets that have done well in the past. So you can literally click on reuse, shuffle some things, or think, hey, what could I add to this tweet? What would be an answer to this tweet? So we help with inspiration. Then we have, the vanilla scheduler everybody has, the queue. You can queue up your different posts. You can write threads. That's pretty generic. And then what we help people with is grow their newsletter, get more engagement, do even like audio DM campaigns. We have a whole suite of things where if you're really like a content creator that wants to get more visitors on his or her website, more newsletter subs, we really help with that part. So it's a complete creator suite, you could call it. Yeah, and you can we have like all the major platforms you can connect to, so Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And we have all these nice quirky little features. We go deep into Twitter, and then we're pretty broad on the other platforms.
So cool. And it does have a lot of great features. One of the things I love when I have a good tweet hit, it gets some likes, it automatically retweets it 12 hours later for me, so that people on the other side of the world who are waking up can see it. And I have clients all over the world, and so I think it's fantastic that it does that, and I've seen a lot of engagement from it. So very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this growth story of yourself on Twitter too. So you've seen a significant rise in your own brand on Twitter. Why do you think it's important to grow your personal brand on Twitter?
Yeah, well, you could get fired from your job any day, and so if you want to start something for yourself, or if you want to have a nice backup, it's always good to have like your own personal brand. So it's not for everybody, of course. I think a lot of people are just happy with their day job. They're not interested in a side business. They don't want to, they're good with where they are, which is fine. But a lot of people, and really a lot of people, they want to look ahead. They want to see, well, I want more freedom. I don't want to do the 9 to 5. I want to get a bit more money coming in. And so that's a very good reason why you should build a personal brand, because, once you have a little following, you know what you're tweeting about, you can, start to build courses. You could do newsletters, subs. You could do paid newsletter. It opens so much opportunity to you. That's my biggest reason.
Yeah, it's so cool. I've definitely seen some of my friends and some people I follow really take off and do super well on it. What would you say? What did you do, and what are some of the best tactics for improving and boosting your account?
Yeah. So like the lame answer is just be consistent, and follow your heart. So in the beginning, when you start with Twitter or with any platform, you have to know like the language a little bit. How does it work? What are the quirks? So because if I would literally cross post all the stuff I post on Twitter to LinkedIn or anywhere else, that wouldn't really work. It will work a little bit. But so get a feeling of what platform suits you. A lot of people are very hesitant to go on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is like, it's a great place to start as a personal brand. There's a lack of good quality content there, so you can start there. But so start with that. Have a feel like what's a platform that is close to my heart. Start sharing some content in 3, 4, 5 different categories or where your knowledge is. See what your audience thinks of it, what resonates, what doesn't, and then start improving those tweets. If we're talking Twitter, start improving those tweets, see what works better, and then there's you can dive in so deep into the Twitter niche. For example, like there are many people, I call them like word magicians. They really make tweets flow, and that's why you like something. But there are other people who just share, hey, I did this, I made $1 million, this is how I did it. And that also works. So you have so many different strategies of growth on Twitter, but on other platforms as well. So yeah, go on.
Yeah, so true. And I do love that, following somebody's journey. If they said, hey, here's how I did it, this is something I did, and if you're like, hey, I want to do that, this is my model. This is how I did it. That's kind of some of the stuff that I've started to work on. And actually, I've been very busy lately, so I haven't focused on my Twitter in the last month. But I've seen results from that, sharing my own journey. And sometimes I think that's a little bit easier, just kind of sharing, what you're doing. And especially for a lot of our audience who are SaaS founders and SaaS leaders, share your journey. And people love the whole build in public. And it's something where you can just share what you're doing, and it works really, really well. People resonate with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People love to see like the real world shit. They don't want to see regurgitated stuff on Twitter. They want to see, hey, I made my first $50. I just reached 1,000 listeners on my podcast, or I got the first few subscribers on my newsletter. And then walk people through how you did that. Because there are always people who start on zero who can learn from somebody who's only a few steps ahead of them. So don't be afraid to share what you're working on. There's always going to be somebody who's interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And something that I get a question on: should everybody work on their personal brand, or only founders and leaders of companies?
I would say everybody. I guess it's easier if you're a founder, but then again, there are people who just read books and tweet about book summaries. So you don't have to be a founder. You could just find something you're passionate about and dig in, share your knowledge about. I don't know. I share my knowledge about SEO. It has nothing to do with me being a founder. It's just me knowing a lot about SEO. And so you don't need to be a founder. You just need to, I guess, know something about something and just share that.
Yeah, I think that's really perfect. And you kind of said it earlier, where you don't know what's going to happen. What happens if your company goes under, or your job gets eliminated, or something happens and now you have nothing? And it's so funny, the people who I've seen that happen to when they've built a personal brand, whether it's on Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever, and they just say, hey, I just got let go, or what have you. They have a ton of people contacting them right away. And you can see it right there. Like, hey, let's set up a meeting. Let's set up a call. You can come work for us. Let's see if it works out. And you automatically have a lot of offers right then.
Yeah, exactly. I've shared a lot of knowledge about SEO in the past on Twitter. Those tweets have gotten, thousands of likes. And every time I do something like that, my DM inbox is just flooded. I get a lot of message requests, people asking, hey, do you do this still? Well, I don't, but I'm focused on Hype Fury. But yeah, it's really easy. If people see that you're experiencing something, that you can get those results, people will reach out to you and just ask you, can you do this for me?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's amazing what can happen. What would you say, Yannick, is the best marketing advice you've ever received?
Yeah, good question. So I always like to take the brand bank as an example. So a lot of brands, what they do is they push marketing, ads, ads everywhere. It's interruption marketing. That's shit. I wouldn't do that. What you need to do is, because that takes money out of your brand bank, you need to put money in your brand bank, because that's how you build a brand. How do you do that? Is literally you share knowledge with people, because that's not interruption marketing. That's, hey, this guy or girl is sharing something which is really interesting. I want to learn. And so there are a lot of competitors in our space, and we don't sell a lot. What we do is, for example, we're doing Twitter Daily right now, which is it's a daily challenge. You get one email every day, and within 2 minutes you'll have a tweet out. So we'll just have like a prompt, hey, today tweet about this and that, and you're done. And literally people within 30 seconds or a minute, people have a tweet up. And right now, we're at 1,500 people. We're going to grow that to at least 10,000 people. And what we're seeing is that they're constantly interacting with Twitter. They're interacting with our brand, and without us selling anything, people are still using our software, paying for our pay plans. And so it's a great way to fill your brand bank. And every once in a while, you can then maybe sell a little, but always try to get more equity in the bank by doing like pool marketing instead of doing push marketing.
Oh, I think that's fantastic. And you kind of said it. So when you do things right, you're not really having to sell. You're kind of sharing value and just showing people how they can improve. And through that, they realize that your product can help them do those things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. It's such a good way to do it. And I think so many times we forget that and we think, let's push things, let's push. Let's like try and really just sell on them and try and unload everything about our product, on top of these people. I call it throwing your product up on them. And it's so much better when you can just share the value and get them to understand how they can be improved.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, it works. Selling does work very well. But yeah, it's a little bit, it's a little bit further from what type of marketing I want to do, what type of sales I want to do. And on the other hand, we should do a little bit more of that, of like really selling. But yeah, it's not my preference. I'd rather build like things people learn from, and in that way get in touch with our brand and maybe try us out, and then even pay for us.
I mean, I think it's true though. You can sell, but if you've already done a great job of sharing value and people now trust you, then it's so much easier when you say, hey, by the way, if you really want to solve some issues right here, this is the product you need, go ahead and grab it. And I think that if you've done that work of building the foundation of trust, then it makes it so much easier when you do have an ask that people are going to just flood it instead of, who is this person? I don't know them. I don't believe in them. What have they ever done? It's just such a difference, right?
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
So cool. So what advice would you give new software founders? A lot of them listen to this show. What advice would you give so that they can follow your journey, grow their account, grow their trust within their market? What should they be doing?
Yeah, don't be afraid to share your story. In the beginning, we shared, when we reached 1,000 MRR, 2,000, 3,000, any way we could share our wins. We did it on Twitter. We did it on Indie Hackers. We did it on relevant places, and that attracts other people. Like when I had like a couple thousand of followers, the biggest tweets were the ones where I shared like the MRR growth. Those attracted like hundreds of new followers, got retweeted a lot, and people love to see other people celebrate something. You think, hey, that's cool. I want to see what he's up to. I want to, hey, oh, that's a cool product, nice, and you attract others. And so, don't be afraid to share a story. The problem I think a lot of like more tech-oriented founders have is they think, I hate marketing. I want to be only focused on building a product. I want to, I don't want to tell anybody about the product. I just want to build, but build it and they will come. That doesn't work. So you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't do it. And remember that. Also, a lot of people think, yeah, but they know that. I don't need to share this. People know this already. This is lame. Never assume that, because there's always people who are behind you. There's always somebody who hasn't written a line of code yet, or who hasn't written anything yet. So they're always, even if you say, well, I just hit, I don't know, I'm into programming, but you yum install whatever, I don't know, like in three commands you could probably have a project running. A lot of people wouldn't even tweet about that, but others, like who are in the tech community, would find it really cool if you just tweeted that. Hey, I just started a new project. Its name is blah blah, and that immediately attracts people. So don't overthink your content sharing. Don't think people know already that. They don't care about that. They actually do, because you're doing something a lot of people aren't, and maybe are a little bit envious of, or want to see, hey, what's this guy doing? I also want to do it. What's his approach? Can I don't know, copy him or be like him? Don't be afraid.
I love that. It's super important. I think that's great advice. And I found that myself, being a coach, helping people. There's been several times where I'm like, well, I don't need to talk about this. People already know this stuff. And I realized, let me just share it. And once I did, a lot of people came up and said, hey, I had no idea about that. So sometimes things that are obvious to you because you've been ingrained, you've been in that business or that industry for so long, may not be obvious to somebody else who, like you said, is just getting started and just kind of learning what they're doing. And there's always somebody who can gain from your experience, or even if people know it, then they connect with you as a person because they see your journey and they start to pull for you. I just think it's so powerful to share whatever you're doing, regardless of what it is. So I think that's great advice, Yannick.
Yeah, yeah. And once you start sharing, people will start reaching out. You'll start forming a network, and you never know what comes out of that. I've met so many people just through the DMs. I've met people on Zoom calls. We've gotten some great deals going because of just building in public.
It's so cool. I love it. Well, this has been great advice. Really appreciate you coming on the show. How can our audience learn more about you and Hype Fury?
Yeah, just go to hypefury.com and have a free trial. Check it out, and maybe we can get some sort of discount code in the show notes as well. Yeah, and I'm Yannick_Veys on Twitter, so check me out.
Yeah, definitely go follow him. He definitely posts some awesome stuff. I follow myself. A lot of great sharing, a lot of value. And we'll put that discount code into the show notes as well as on the YouTube description. So if you're watching, if you're listening, go ahead and check that out. Make sure you go get yourself some Hype Fury. This has been awesome. Yannick, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was a pleasure. Thanks, man.
For sure. And everybody out there, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you're subscribed to the show. You don't want to miss out on any other awesome founders or creators like Yannick coming up in the next couple of weeks here. So hit subscribe. Make sure you get all the best tips and tricks so you can grow your business. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you next time. Take care.